Hey everybody, happy Kwanzaa family, Habaragani.
Kuumba.
Kuumba, yes. Today is the sixth day of Kwanzaa, and it is celebrated by the principle Kuumba, which means creativity. So we're gonna have a creative talk with two creatives. I'm about to bring the second creative back onto the stream right now, and then I'll allow the guests to introduce themselves. I was telling them kind of before we started, like when I'm thinking about creativity, oh, there are tons of creative people, but I know who God placed right in my mind. Two super duper dope creative people in the graphic arts and the performance arts. So we're going to allow you to meet them, connect with them, and really support them because they both have certain things going on. So I'll introduce Miss Karen. You know, I like to give a little history on how I know people. So she has literally known me since I was young in my home church way back in Brockton. She saw me from a child all the way up until now, and she's an amazing graphic artist. I mean, painting, logos, whatever you want, she has. So when we're talking about creativity, she's the epitome of that. Say hi to the people, Miss Karen.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Hey, CD. I'm excited to be here. Oh, my goodness. This is like my favorite world.
Yes, your creative world. Exactly, exactly.
Yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much. So our next guest is Chanel Dawn Thompson or Miss 5678. Okay. So seriously, my sister, best friend, homie, you know what I mean? Such an amazing creative, singing, dancing, just whatever. If you want her to move around, this is her. She's amazing in what she does. And when you watch her dance or perform, it's a ministry. You just like you get emotional. Well, I know I do. I can't talk about everybody, but I know I do because it rolls out of her. It's her passion.
Ooh.
Chanel CD, say hi to the people.
Hi, you guys. How are you? Hi, Sister Karen.
Hi, Janelle.
Hi. Hi.
Yes. Absolutely. All right, so we're just jumping right into creativity. Definitely want to give a background history or hear how you both got into creative world. You know what I mean? This is a calling. This is a passion. I mean, everyone isn't creative, or everyone is creative in different levels, right? We all have different levels of creativity. So, how did you get into it? How did that creative bug, jump on you? Miss Karen, we'll start right with you.
Sure. I am a fine art artist. I went to Mass College of Art. I was a late bloomer professionally, but I always loved art. I loved painting. My mom was the one who introduced me to drawing and painting. Oh my gosh, I thought she was like God with what she did. I was excited. I always wanted to do as well as she did, but I couldn't because I was a little girl. So that gave me the drive, like I want to, do good as my mom. I still don't think I am, but I like trying and I just get excited about drawing, painting, just anything creative. I love colors. I get excited about it. Um, and so I discovered that, this is a gift. When I started doing things and people say, wow, that's pretty good. So then I was inspired to continue on. And I kind of put it to the side as I became a mom and a wife. And then I picked it back up like, wait a minute, this is something I really like. I'm going to start back again and go back to school and, just delve in. And I remember being in art school, just like 2-hour drawing classes, like that was heaven. So you have to really like drawing to sit in a 2-hour class to draw stuff. So I really just love it's my happy place. It's my happy place.
Awesome. I mean, for as long as I can remember, I remember, well, I mean, no, you did say you were a late bloomer. I do remember when you had your book, and you were able to do all the creative works for that. And I'm like, oh wait, like, oh, she's really good. Like, hold on. And then as of recently, when I saw the picture, I think it was for Mo's daughter, you painted a picture for her. I
Oh
was like,
yes.
oh my gosh, like
Oh,
she's
I
amazing.
love it.
And that saves you money too. You don't have to go out and buy anything. The creative gift is right in your hands. So that's awesome. And I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
and that's an encouragement to anyone, no matter
Mm.
what level or how late maybe you think you're blooming or something. You said you
That's
got a
it.
late start, but you're now you're walking your creative gift. So it's not like, oh, I'm 50 or I'm 60, I
Right.
can't do this. It
Right.
doesn't matter, right?
Right. I love it. I love it. So yes, I share it with my granddaughters and grandsons when they come over. They know they're gonna paint with Nani.
Painting with Nani. That's like
Painting
a
with
show. That's like a
That's a show
YouTube
right
No,
show.
there.
Let's get it. Right, Chanel? You can hear that, right? Painting with
no.
Nani.
Painting
Like,
with Nani.
come
And
on.
all the people watching, all the families will watch it, and maybe
Everybody
that
would
could,
watch it.
and they could do this. They could paint with you.
Exactly. So we'll talk about
Absolutely.
that. This is the
Yeah, we have to
point.
try to get somebody to do that with me. All.
You already know. This is the point of connecting everybody, right? Connecting people
Mm,
who might not have been connected. If somebody in the comments or listeners watching and viewers
yes.
watching, if you feel like, oh, this is something that you might want to help out with, say something in the chat. Like, you want to help
Absolutely.
Painted with Nani come to fruition?
There you
This
go.
is the season to do this. Okay. This is why Kwanzaa was created. So us as a community could help each other out. Thank you.
Connect.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Mhm.
CD, Chanel Don, let us know how you got the creative bug. I've heard the story a couple of times and I'm like, I can't wait to hear it again.
Oh
Let us
yeah.
know how you got into this
I think
field.
my first encounter with like the aha moment of I want to do this is we lived in England. We were stationed at Greenham Common Air Force Base, and my dad took us to a football game, and it's the first football game I ever went to, and I seen like the cheerleaders. I mean, I was like, who are they? And my dad was like, they're cheerleaders. And I'm like, what? What's that? And he
What
was
is
like,
it?
they cheer the team on. They cheer everybody on. Like, they had matching outfits. They had pom-pom on their sneakers. They had pom-poms. They had skirt. I was like, and they had coats. I was like, I love this. I want to do this. And I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And we are talking fast forward 20, 30 years later. I've been able to develop talent, develop models, develop singers, dancers into their respective lane, their gifts, and into use their gifts and just in their respective lane. So I've been able to choreograph for video games where people can like learn how to dance by way of video games, using their body as the controller on Xbox. Shout out to Harmonic. And shout out to Frenchie for plugging me and being resourceful, being one of my closest sisters and best friends who connected me and said, this is the project for you. And we were able to touch the masses, touch the world with that. And then also being able to teach dance fitness in a using the culture, our cultural background. My mom's from Antigua, so being able to touch lives and being able to, it's more than just dance when we're dancing and doing fitness. It's more about wellness. It's more about your mindset. It's more about having fun. Um, you know, figuring out where you are in your season and going and using dance fitness as a way of just cultivating hope and joy and all of that in the same space and just being able to share it. So that's just kind of like one thing that I could say that's when I got the creative bug is I would say 1984. You know what I mean? Just wanting to do be a cheerleader for people, for the people, using dance and music and art, just the art to do it.
Now you talked about dance. Lest we forget about the singing. Lest we
Oh
forget.
yeah.
Chanel was an amazing singer. Listen, we'll sing Heaven Down, okay? Heaven Down.
Oh man, that's another thing. That's one of the things that I did start out doing. I would always like toggle between dance and singing. I was able to sing in the Michael Jackson special, choir background with Liza Minnelli for that special. I've been able to do some singing in for Diggable Planets for those who know Diggable Planets. Oh man, there's so many artists that I've met. Even back in the day, there's some artists that I've met that are really like, what? I've been able to sing and work with, let's see, oh man, Nelly Pro Tools, Joey Fergus, shout out to all of them. Dre Robinson, Concrete Click, let's see. Oh yeah, Smoke Bolger, Fast Life, the whole Life for Life. Shout out to Jamie, rest in peace. I've been able to sing with Guru, the late Guru from Gangstar, with Smitty, water entertainment. I've been able to sing with my choir, my church, Morning Star. I love y'all, So I've been able to sing and work with Marcella Cruz, MKX, so many different Dino Boys, like all these different artists, and show them through my experience of singing, how they can actually create, and like create and pave out their lane for their artistry and their and their singing career. So, yes, I do sing. I love it, and I try to incorporate singing and dancing in my lifestyle. So.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So listen, listeners, viewers, we don't have just some rinky dinky creators up here. We have established creative artists up here. So I want to start kind of jumping into, what if someone says, and Miss Karen, I'll shoot this question over to you. What if someone says, "Oh, I don't know how to discover my creativity. I don't have it," or someone else is more creative to me or creative than me? Like, what are some things that you would say to help them kind of stir up that creative gift or kind of spotlight what may be their gifting in the creative world?
Sure, sure. Well, everybody's so unique with their likes and dislikes. We start there. When you're being creative, you're doing something that you like or you want to discover more information about. So I guess zooming in there and then broadening it as far as, well, what avenues can we go to as far as going further with what you like? So we can venture in this. Also, just discovery about yourself aspect. A lot of people are afraid to even draw something because they're so focused on being perfect. And so there's a sense of freedom to discover that you can draw without lifting your pencil or pen. Just the freedom, there's no stress to be correct. And you can discover some new things, new techniques, even by the sense of freedom that you have with what you do. So just open your mind, and gravitate towards the things that you like, and then we take it from there.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're touching on one of the topics I want to mention before we end, the freedom in creativity and what that looks like. You know what I mean? But Chanel, what would you suggest or say to someone who is like, "Oh, I don't know how to be creative, or I don't have a creative bone in my body"?
Yeah, no. Listen. People tell me, "Oh, I can't dance." Like they tell me they can't dance, and I'm like, "You haven't danced yet." You
Right.
mean it's not that you can't dance. You just have not danced with me yet.
Right.
So, and usually, when it comes to dance, so for dance also for cardio, I get that all the time, and I work with non-dancers. I work with dancers, and I work with seasoned dancers. Right? So when I have the non-dancers who are like, "It's my first time. Can you miss? Can you be easy on me? I don't know what I'm doing." And they're like, "I'm kind of scared." I'm like, "Don't worry." Um, I usually will say in repetition, so with a movement, and I will stay on that move and break the move all the way down to where it formulates in your body. So, and that's usually how I gain the confidence of the person, because once they see themselves in repetition doing a movement, where and then they feel confident, I get the trust to move to the next movement, and then we start building to the next movement and to the next movement, and the next thing you know, they're dancing, not realizing they're having fun. Well, they realize they're having fun, but not realizing they're dancing, and that they've already like almost took that word and like ate it and was like, never mind, I can dance. And so when it comes to dance, that's how I gain the trust. When it comes to artists, um, usually what we do is I watch what they're doing as an artist. So y'all singers out there, I just want to hear you sing. I don't want to see your performance, or if you want to show me your performance, that's awesome too. I just want to hear you sing, and then allow God to download to me what I'm supposed to do specifically with you. And sometimes I've had some artists who like fight me over, I don't want to do this movement. Oh, I can't do that movement. That's too hard, and this, that, and the third. And oftentimes I have to actually do their song, or show them the note, or show them the movement and the note, so that they can actually see themselves do it. So sometimes you have to be the example first, especially when it comes to singing and dancing, so that they can see themselves do it. and you kind of personalize it to their music or their lyrics or their show, a portion of their show. So I usually start by creating the trust, um, and breaking things down to such a level that they can comprehend, and then we build from there. And when it's an artist who, it's their first sort of like, okay, I have 4 songs and I got a show coming up in 5 weeks. We build a plan around that 5 weeks, and we start aggressively with that plan. And it usually goes from like, I'm just practicing with them, music. Then it goes from practicing with them with the music, with movement. Then we practice from the song to movement to, all right, now this is the order of the set. Then we bring in the dancers, and we put it on the body. And then we put it on all the bodies plus the artist. So it's a building block process when it comes to stage performance. But essentially, is the key word is to gain the trust, from the creative or the artist, and then build around that.
I love that. I love that. And I can only imagine how many success stories that are like, okay, I came in not being able to dance, and now I can move and shake it.
Mm,
That goes back to the liberty and freedom that's in
mhm.
the creative world. I think just thinking of us as a people, right, our culture and how creative we are, and how much our creativity has shaped the entire
Yeah.
world. Like, so I mean, good and bad. So our creative ideas have been stolen. We know that Big Mama Thornton is, I mean, who wrote Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, but who got the credit for it? I mean, Elvis Presley.
So,
Like, our creative our creative skills and gifts have been taken, and they have, made people millions. Even though, okay, it's like, oh man, we're not getting the money, but that came from us. That said something about who we
mm,
are as a people,
right.
and our history. You know what I mean? In our
Mhm.
long history, how we gave mathematics to the world, and how we did this, and
Mm,
we taught people how to sew and plant, and you know what I mean? Our music, our
yes.
history, and everybody in every culture is trying to appropriate Black culture. And if we're in
Right.
America, Black American culture, right? We see the saggy pants. We see everybody want to rap, and you know what I mean? Everybody want to get braids, even if your hair
Mhm.
wasn't made to do that. But that's neither here nor
Right.
there. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to do it. So
Right.
our creativity has literally shaped the world. I say all that to ask, who are some like historical creatives? And I'll shoot this question to you, Miss Karen. Who are some historical creatives that just have your heartstrings, like that you just love and have watched their work and have really inspired you in the creative world?
Mm. Words are inspiring, to as well as visual sound. All those things are inspiring. I think of Langston Hughes' poems. The words, they give you, incentive. They put images in your mind. Maya Angelou, um, just music. Herbie Hancock. It moves you in a way that inspires you to do something else, whether that's dance, write more, or begin to put your hand to the paintbrush or to draw something. So, there's all kinds of ways we're inspired. I was thinking as you were talking about, what we've done, what was taken from us. We have had to, as a people, be creative to get things done,
Right.
to
Right.
survive. It's just innate in us to not just accept, no, we'll see how else can we do it. And so with that kind of thinking, you're always got something on your mind to, we call it creative. It was just the way we live. It was survival.
That's
I've
right.
heard stories about, putting rice in your hair in between your braids and then taking them out so you had food. Like, who would
Yeah.
think of that? Because our hair is the way, the texture that it is, that something can stay in it. So
Wow.
we had to do survival things. And I think as a people, beautiful things come from, what, like the olive oil that's to get the oil out, you press. We've been pressed, so things come out of that, beautiful things,
Whew.
always. And
Oh,
so it's just in us, it's just in the fabric of our being, whether it's singing or dancing or doing hair or painting or right, That's the way we are as a people. And it's beautiful when we encourage one another. Let that flow, let it out. Wherever you are, and anywhere it gets stifled, you don't need to be there. You need to move on so you can let that stuff flow from you that comes from God. It's
Come
just in us as a
on.
people.
Yes. Come on. Miss
Hmm.
Karen said, if no one is encouraging our creativity, we need to move on
We
and
got to
get
move
out
on
of
because
there.
we got to let it out. We got to let it out.
Gotta let it out. We are creative
Yes.
people. Chanel, I'm coming to you with the same question, but we are creative people. Like, if anyone hears music, like our shoulders just automatically start, like, moving, the foot start tapping, the head start
Foot,
Doing,
moving.
head,
doing
shoulder.
It's like, you just start going. It is in our soul, in the fabric of who we are as a people to be creative. And I love that. I really want to hone in on that. Anyone who is stifling our creativity does not really care for our well-being, because
Yes.
again, we're going to talk about the freedom that's in creativity, the release that's there, and let's tie
Yes.
in how God is able to speak to us in our creative gifts. What?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone trying to stifle that does not really care about us. So I thank you and appreciate you for saying that. All right, Chanel,
Mm.
who's your inspiration? And add on
um,
your, I know you got plenty to say about, I
so
know,
I just
right?
in love with Debbie Allen all over again,
You're
man.
Debbie Allen. You're Debbie
Yes.
Allen.
Ooh,
So
yes.
so so listen, she has this like a remix Nutcracker, like better than the Nutcracker production, and just everything about how her process. I was like, yo, and I was just like bigging up God. I'm like, this is what she was doing. Dang, like I just watching her and getting confirmation and affirmed at the same time. You just imagine that. She is just a lightweight. Like she lights the way. Every dancer wants to be like her. Every dancer that's a creative, that's a choreographer, that's a teacher wants to be like her, and her system and her process. All of those things, right? Her discipline. When it comes to singing, Nancy Wilson. When it comes to just talking, Simone. Like the way Nina Simone, how she just talked. Like she sang, but she spoke. Her voice, like it's like silk. You know what I mean? Nancy Wilson, her tone, her tone and her pitch, and just how regal she was. Like I just remember, like if I'm gonna sing classy, and of course I do have a little bit of edge and a little bit of hood in me, and that's not gonna go nowhere. So I wanted to be like edgy, but at the same time regal. Like just one of a kind. Nobody like me. Nobody will, listen, that doesn't get ready to be singing. Nobody like you. But I wanted to be like that in the music world where I
You
could
can
sing
sing. You can
on
sing if you want.
Yeah, I liked hearing a little bit of that. Come with it.
I like she used to sing like jazzy music. I mean, I don't like this a ton of music, but I used to be so I used to sing like I used to take my lyrics and try to mimic her sound. Like now I like living lavish, and I would like try to sound like her, and I would try to mimic the sound and make it more like me. Now I like living lavish, foreign cars and stacking cream. And I would stop and I would redo it again and do the notes over. Now I like living lavish, foreign cars and stacking cream. And I would remember like how she would capture like the whole crowd, and it would be so simple. And it would be like I don't know. She wouldn't take too long to do a song, but like too many words. She wouldn't take up too much words. But her tone, her pitch, she could just like it just sounded like royalty. I don't know. That's just how I perceived Nancy Wilson. And I used to just watch Nina Simone, how she just it was quiet. You had to be quiet. Like you needed to be still to listen to her, right? So I'll say like those are my influences in terms of an older demographic. In terms of now, I would have to say the revamp, of course, me is like, listen, I'm looking at Debbie Allen and I'm looking at her processes when she does her choreography, when she produces a show, what she does, her preparation, the timeline. And there's so many different people that I've encountered that I'm confirming while I'm watching how she does the show. I'm confirming, oh, I did that, check. Oh yeah, I did that, check. Okay, check that off, yep. And I'm just making sure that I'm modeling it after somebody who is successful. And when we talk about using music to get things done, I notice every, I can't. There's nothing in this house. Sometimes it's still quiet, like there ain't no music on, but not likely. If I'm doing any laundry, washing dishes, either I'm singing or I'm listening to music and singing to the music, or listening to the music and not and just soaking it up. So I can't literally do any domesticated stuff, whether it's cooking, writing, cleaning up, organizing, any of that stuff without music. And we recently did that. We did a cleanup session for the new season. And we got our spaces, whatever we're trying to clean up, and we turned the music on. And I knew that if we're going to go live, people gravitate to the feel good music, the timeless music. So I chose to use the 90s, of course. And a lot of people were like, I want to do that. I want to clean up too. So let's clean up together. You know what I mean? And we use the music to do it. So it's funny that you said that, Sister Karen, because it's true. To get things done, we need the creativity. We need the music.
We
Somehow
need
we
it.
make a song, a little jink, you know what I mean? A little rhyme or whatever,
Yep.
just to just kind of pass the time through. So
Mhm.
those, I would say those are my influences that I can say that kind of sort of started to pave. Michael Jackson too, Janet, yes,
Right.
Whitney, but those are the ones I started to form my own sound. Those are the ones that I listen to just for my own sound. Now she's Nancy Wilson.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm like Chanel. I'm like, she's Debbie Allen. Like, she is Debbie Allen. I promise. Just her creative. I mean, okay, the creativity is there. I feel like you have to have that at the foundation. But the precision, I'm talking about the dedication. I mean, being able to spot. She could look at someone and say, okay, I see the gift in you and I'm going to help you cultivate it. That is Debbie Allen. And I'm like, and she kind of looks like her a little, you know what I mean? Her demeanor, her
I
character,
know,
her
right?
poise. I'm like, you Debbie Allen. You
Oh, you say some
but
stuff like that. You like, oh my God, I say that. Ooh.
exactly, they're very similar. But two things I really like that you said is, you put your own spin on it. That's the beauty of being a creative. You
Beauty.
can take little pieces from everything, but the beauty is our fingerprint that no one else has. Even if we're a twin, no one else has our fingerprint.
Right.
No one else in the world has our fingerprint. We can
Right.
put our own fingerprint on something. I love that. And then as soon as you said about doing the music, with something, I'm like cleaning on Saturdays. You already know that
All the
music was getting blasted up,
great. Yeah,
whatever. If it
yeah.
was Caribbean, if it was Southern, if it was the old school like Earth, Wind, and Fire, everybody knows. Okay,
Music.
across the diaspora, it doesn't matter where you came from. We know that you hear that music going, you better start getting up, mopping,
That's it.
and sweeping. And the music did help it go by faster. So I love that you mentioned
Yes.
that. I love
Mhm.
that. And then I feel like this just flows us easily into the freedom in creativity. I want to know the levels of freedom that have been experienced in creativity, and how we were able to just flourish in that place. Whether we're painting, what revelation are we getting when we're hearing a song or dancing? I'm telling you, I'm honest. The first time I ever saw Chanel dance in church, I was bawling like a baby
Wow.
because I'm like, this is her gift. And
Powerful.
it's a gift because it'll inspire. It's like contagious. Now that's the variant that we want to be contagious, not what's going
Mm,
on now. We want
right.
creativity to be the bug that catches on. You see someone else being creative and it releases you and frees you. So please, let's talk about that freedom that is released when we are
Mm.
open and available to being creative.
Ooh.
I know, right? I know.
Ooh, it's so freeing, like a bird. I mentioned scripture. It says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty.
Ooh.
So, we can't help but be free when we're being creative, because there's lots of liberty there. There's no limitations. I thought about with Debbie Allen. I heard that she was told by a teacher that she would not succeed at dancing because of the shape of her body. We're well endowed in certain areas as a people, And so the teachers back then were thinking, this isn't going to work, but oh, how she proved them not so.
10 times
Uh,
over, 20 times over.
yes. So we have to persevere. We got to press on through with our creativity. Um, but it's very freeing for me. It's definitely my happy place, as I said. Um, Sometimes things drop in my spirit early in the morning, and I wake up, I can't go to sleep, and I'm like, wow, wow. And so I go after that. And it can take me to somewhere else. For example, I had recently had a thought about my artwork, and the thought was to do an online exhibit and allow 30% of the proceeds to go to students returning back to school in January.
It's amazing.
And I was like, wow, Lord, that's really awesome. So I did it. We had 3 students that earned, we had like $160 total that we gave away to their Cash App to go back to school January for books, for small essentials. But it's the start of something to give back, to show creativity. Who knows? Maybe other artists will join in. Some of their work can be sold, or all kinds of things can be done, but it was the first initial seed. I think we're always given seeds so we can continue on and things can grow, but they got to start somewhere. Even this very platform,
When
where
did you
people have a voice.
when did you do it?
I did it this month, December. Very short time. I was at the 19th, and then I had that following Wednesday the drawing. I asked people to submit students' names, and so we drew them. I had my little granddaughter, who's 3, draw the names. We had a whole little show. She was so sweet. She wasn't shy. I was surprised because usually she runs away. But it was something to give them to do, to be an example right in your family, to show what we can do. Be creative, do lots of things. So there's just a
I want
sense
to
of
do.
freedom all around. What's that again?
I said, if you do it again, I want to teach a dance, and whatever proceeds I get from that, I want to donate it to that to give to the students.
Ooh,
Awesome. Look,
yes.
this is the point of this,
Awesome.
to make those connections. I can
Yes.
drop. So what I'm going to do is I will drop the group info in the chat. Chanel,
Okay.
I'll drop Building Miss 5678 also in the chat to be able to
Okay.
give people the opportunity to explore these creative outlets. And
Yes.
something you said, Miss Karen, was that your granddaughter wasn't shy. So our creativity releases people to be free. That's immediately what popped up. That's how my mind works.
Courage.
That's how my mind
Yes.
works.
Yes.
When
Yes.
we are
Yes.
free in our creativity, those who were shy or introverted or not really speaking up, we literally unlock our
Yes.
creativity is the key to them being
Yes.
open. So if we keep
Yes.
this inside, if we say, oh, I'm going to sit on this, I'm not going to explore this. If God has given me something, I'm not going to let this out. How many people now are not able to have their creativity unlocked because we've
Right.
sat on what
Because
God
we said
gave us?
That's right.
Right.
We
That
gotta step.
immediately I
we
was
can't.
thinking that when you said that, I'm like, oh, that's a sermon
Yeah.
that will preach.
Yes.
That will
And
preach.
her brothers were like, "Can I do it next time, next
Look,
teacher?"
it's a domino effect. It's a domino. Our free
Yeah.
creativity is a domino effect. It starts,
Mm-hmm.
it's like an avalanche. You start rolling
Mm-hmm.
down, we're free,
Mhm.
released, unlocked. Then other people see us and it's like, oh, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Especially if it's someone I
Yes.
trust, I know, I love, they're into good stuff, they're positive. If they're doing it,
Yes.
I want to do it too. We literally waking up, or we
We
literally
do.
stir up the gifts. That's why I'm
Yes.
always thinking like we stir up the gifts like Paul
Yes.
did. Like he told Timothy, I'm gonna stir up the gifts that are in you. They're there, but they're just
Mhm.
they're just at the bottom. It's
Yes.
sediment. We have to
Take it
stir it up. I love
Stir it
that.
up,
Come on.
cultivate them, make them
I just
better, get your skills sharper, whatever you need to do to cultivate your gifts that God has given you. You have to.
You have to.
Otherwise, even this platform, this is, the pandemic has called people to creativity,
Yeah.
to allow other people to speak, the opportunity. Otherwise, what was the old school way? You got to wait to get a platform. Hopefully, someone will let you speak.
Hopefully.
You got to set up. You got to pay all this money to rent out a place. God saying no. There's some people in the background. I want them to come up here,
Come on.
and I want them to do some things that those who've been in the forefront and say, "Oh wow, look at them."
Right, right. Well, how can we build it? You know what I mean? How can we build it? If people that have already been catalysts and doing it already, how can we bring those who are now discovering in that new discovery phase, and they have a lane and they have a product, they have a gift, they have stuff to share? How can we build and band up and show everybody, showcase everybody's thing, everybody's gifts, everybody's work, everybody's product? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I know at one point Steph and I were like, "We're not buying nothing from no store no more. We're
Nothing.
just buying. We're buying from our community. That's it." And we literally like shut down and found every type of shut down all of the like retail stuff, you know. And we were like, okay, what do we use? What do we like? And where can we get it? And we found all different avenues of all the stuff we can get. You know what I mean? And who has what. And I think that's important too. And like you said, you know, those who were in the background now, let's move this thing around. Let's move this shift this around so that people are heard, seen, and we can share. That's the biggest thing I hear God telling me. He said last week, I was walking somewhere and I just heard him say, use what you have and use what I gave you. And I was like, huh? Okay.
Right.
So, because you know, we ask for more, we ask for this and that, and he's like, use what you have and use what I gave you. So when you're trying to like, for me particularly, I'll try to like, you know, sometimes I'll try to go buy something new because I can't find something that I already have, and it's the same thing I'm going to buy. I'm just buying it over, and you got to like, nope, enough with that. Use what you have and use what I gave you. And that means also gifts. Sometimes people don't know what their gift is. Now, I'll say this. One thing that I noticed when teaching or working with someone is, and then somebody who's like in that undecided, I don't know, and they haven't shown me anything yet, so I can't really assess whether or not what, you know, their gift or their talent. Sometimes I ask them, what do you like doing the most? What do you end up gravitating the most? What do you gravitate to the most? And 9 times out of 10, so, you know, without disclosing some of my students, there's a student who he is constantly drawing, you know, like he's constantly drawing like video game characters, and I'm like, what do you know? I said you like, and he likes to play video games, right? And I'm like, well, you're right now. Let me tell you what you're doing. You're actually drawing what we would call animation. Right. And what we would call sort of you're animating characters, and because you're interested and you're excited about the video gaming world, you need to start researching places where you can start now studying this and figuring out, you know, right now where you sort of do something. Because I mean, right now these kids, they're at the best advantage of their life.
Ooh, yes.
Because there's kids that can be like, I mean, I was watching the news on the day after, on Monday, and there was 2 kids that were on GMA or some news platform that created a wellness sort of forum for kids, and they're now like on GMA. It's like they're making figures, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I know a ton of kids who need it and who also do those things. And so I say that to say they're at such a huge advantage. Any creative right now is at an advantage to prosper because there's been a door opened up to flood it. You know what I mean? So we can flood through that thing. I mean, just making sure that your motives are correct and all those things. But essentially, I mean, there's room for everyone. And if we learn to share what we have and what we have given, there's room to expand. I think that's what I see the most in this next season for a lot of folks, including myself, is when he said, use what I gave you and use what you have. I know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is I want to share the most that I have and the most that I can give. You know what I mean?
Yes. You know, as you were speaking, Chanel reminded me the other day I spoke with my grandson. He who can teach me not only should the adults get together and coordinate, but the younger generation, because they're smarter. They learn that stuff way quicker. And so we need to impart to them and learn from them as well. A grandson who says, I want to be a content creator. I'm like, what is that? It has to do with video games. You play them and you have a YouTube channel, and people pay for through subscriptions to watch you play the game.
And they make big
Like,
bucks.
what?
They make
Yeah.
big bucks.
Harmonics used to do it all the time. We used to have a room full of people who are doing gameplay, and because you can have play testers come in and do it, and so they would have them come in and do play testing, and people we realize that people were watching them play the game.
People love that. I mean, I think we're in such a society where we have YouTube. I mean, we have the app called Twitch, and you can look and see, and people love to watch other people do things. Why not get paid for that? So I love that your grandson is doing that. But I also, I'm gonna let you finish, Ms. Karen. But I like that you mentioned that now it has to be a cross generational thing, right?
Yes.
Where the older, more seasoned people are sharing with the younger. It's not just one way. The flow goes back and
Right.
forth. It's that reciprocity that the young ones are teaching what they know as well, which is super important.
Yes, yes. We can do things. We can do more things instead of chopping off the knowledge. Old people are here, young people are here. We don't know how to bridge the gap.
Right.
We're missing out. We're missing out. The older people have to say, okay, help me understand. Instead of, what is that? It's too much. I don't want to be bothered with it. No, the pandemic has caused a lot of older people to learn how to use the computer better.
Whether they wanted to or not.
That's right. Or their phones,
Well,
Boom.
their devices in general.
we don't have a
If you want to
choice.
connect with the world, even if you want to go to church, you gotta learn how to stream.
You have to click on somebody's link. Exactly.
Somebody, or else you'll be left out. So it's important to connect. But kids as young as my granddaughter, who's 3, she has a tablet, flip. She knows exactly what to do. Cuts off the commercials when she's doing her stuff. Like, I don't have time for that.
I know that's right.
Chanel,
Like,
you
they
know
know
how I
what
feel
to
about
do,
commercials.
you know?
I pay.
She's like, use my account. I don't want to do with it.
Listen, I
Yeah.
pay YouTube $11.99 a month, so I don't have to hear any commercials
Any
because I'm like,
commercials.
we're in the middle of worship. Chanel knows, like, oh glory. There's like, and now we have. I'm like, oh no,
No.
get that out of here.
Yes.
Account is signing.
Right,
Right.
but it's true.
Yes.
It's so true that we have been given an opportunity through the pandemic that we are saying rest in peace and rest in power to everyone who's passed. We mean no disrespect, but for those of us who are still living,
Right.
if we've missed this opportunity, man, it's such a window for creatives. If you didn't like your job and you want to do something else, this was the time to say, okay, I have an opening. An opening was created for all creatives to say,
Yes.
if I want to get, certified in something, if I want to go back for graphic
Yes.
arts, or I want to do photography, we're literally at the place at the crossroads saying, whatever you want to do, you can do. It's do we have the stamina? Do we have the grit? Do we have the push? And I want to talk about the creative tribe. Who do we have around us who's supporting us, who's pouring into us? Creatives can't make it. We can't make it on our own because we do so much and we drain. Chanel and I talk about this all the time. We get so drained. If we don't have a good tribe around us, we notice our creativity is really not cultivated, right?
Yes.
If we're not able to water the garden on our own, do we have 2, 3, 4 people around us who is able to help us pour, that watering bucket so we can water our creativity? Or do we have people around us who are taking our resources or wishing for our demise and not supporting what I'm like, oh my gosh, right. That's the creative space that it's like in 2022, we have got to do better as a people, authentically supporting each other, not out of obligation or because I authentically support you, and in turn, it's not too much to ask for support back.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of it.
So
Yeah.
true. So true.
Steph
One of the
helped.
things I've been
Yeah.
hearing, go ahead, Chanel.
Oh, I was gonna say, Steph helped me to see Chanel. Um, what I should, how much I should extend that, because I was like exhausting my resources, exhausting my funds, doing a whole lot, and it's like, you know, she's she's supporting, there's a couple other people that are supporting, but then you have some other people who just want to see, and it's like, she's like, no, so now you gotta put those
Shut it
boundaries up,
down.
You
but
do.
she helped
You,
me see that. So, I agree. I completely agree. It really helps when you have a supportive team around you, a tribe around you to help you manage what you pour. You know what I
mm,
mean?
To manage what you pour. I mean, Chanel
yes.
was supporting everybody. She's a supportive person. I love her so much. She's so supportive and will give the shirt off her back. But if she's
Mm,
not getting that support back, I don't think it's too much to ask if we're in a creative space and I'm going to your event and I'm bigging you up and I'm posting you. If you can't even take the time out of your day to then in turn support me back, you
Right.
don't need my support. I'll pray for you. I'll
Right.
wish good thoughts to
There you
you,
go. There
pray
you
for your
go.
success. But
There you
creatively,
go.
I need to preserve and reserve my energy for people who are
Mm,
supporting me in this
right.
creative
that's so
space.
key.
You know what
That's
I
so
mean?
key.
I even feel the creative energy even here. You know what I mean? That we all
Yes.
support. It's beautiful to be
My
It
mind
creative.
is.
is buzzing
Blown.
because there's some things I want to do when we offline. I'm just so
This is what I'm
Yes.
excited.
saying. Connect. This is why Dr. Malena Karenga created Kwanzaa, that we could incorporate these principles all year round. That
All year
that has
round.
been buzzing in my head. Kwanzaa 365.
Mm,
That we don't just do it from December 26th to January
right.
1st. That this is
Right.
in our core. Kuumba, we
Mm,
creative. We're doing
mm,
this all year round. And the principle
yes.
says we're using this to better our communities. So we're
That's right.
sitting on our
Yes.
gifts. If
Yes.
we're not using our creativity, our community is suffering. What
Suffering.
creative gift has God put inside of us to
Mm,
help better our community? It's us. We can't look
yes.
for anyone else. No one's going to care
No.
No,
about our community more than we are, right?
No.
right.
No.
You know
We
what
can't.
you know what else I see too? I don't know if you're like, if you see this too, Sister Karen, or if this is something, your thought process you think about. I know that a lot of times we try to figure out where we sit at in the table. So a lot of the times I would be like trying to find spaces for us or for myself to come and bring people with, and they would be like, no, no, no. So I started to create the spaces, because I'm like, I don't, if I know that I can't go here and I'm not welcome there, then I'm just gonna create the space that I am welcome and bring people to me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
Yes.
so that's why I want to touch base with you both after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
because there's
yes.
some things
Yes.
that
Yes.
come
Oh, I
in my
love
head.
it. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. One other thing that I do as a creative is a podcast. I had two podcasts. I did Empowering Christian Women, which we still have the audios up on Anchor, but I'm doing one called A King and Two Queens. We
Ooh,
have a gentleman with us and one of my sisters, and we speak on the perspective of relationships and the issues that people have. Why are there so many singles today? And then what's going on with marriages?
mm,
And how we can help. And we all offer life coaching. We have individual programs. My sister has Daddy's Little Girl, women dealing with father issues. The gentleman working with us, he has the King's Coaching working with men. I have a 30-day jump start for people who just need support in jumping start, getting started. You have the I don't know what I want to do, but I want to do something kind of thing you're going through,
mm,
as well as a mentoring where it's more long term. People just need to connect with someone and be mentored. So we're offering that in our podcast as a creative, coming together, seeing a need in our community with our people with mental health issues. During the pandemic, people just not knowing where to go, who to turn to, and they need someone. So we're offering that. Um, but we have to allow ourselves to, not just individually, but find people to connect with to do things that's going to help our community. We have to. We're dying, you know. Young people, we disconnect from them. We don't understand. We need to open up and understand so we can get together and be strong as a people with all these beautiful gifts that we have that come from God. That come from
Amen.
God.
Absolutely.
Crazy because he's
I
saying
so
that, and you have a podcast too.
I was
We
about
all,
to say, I was about to say, so we've been talking for almost an hour, believe it or not.
I
Okay, when you
know,
get in a
wow.
right?
creative space, the time
It
just
goes
flies
by
by.
quick. It
I know,
does.
and I thank you, Miss Karen, for opening up this space, to really share what else is going on, because everybody on this stream right now has a podcast, which I think is beautiful, and I really
Wow.
want Chanel to share about what she has her podcast
Yeah.
on, because it really connects. When you were saying it, I'm like,
I was like, this
like
is
I see.
amazing.
I see you post it, Miss Karen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I know
Yep.
that it was just you and your sister, and then you added David on. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. This is great expansion.
Right.
But that's what Chanel, it's great. Connect, please connect. And Chanel, please share what you're doing. And then
Yeah.
I
So,
really want us to roll into what our creative spaces look like in 2022, and how we're gonna,
whew,
just plan for the next year. And
Hmm.
again, we're pushing Kuumba all year long. Every principle, we're dragging it out. There's not a short time, there's not a short window. We're dragging it out. But Chanel, I can see you buzzing over there, especially when she was talking about relationships.
that's
I'm like, oh my
exactly.
God. Go
Well,
ahead.
I mean, every time when you said Kwanzaa 365 in my head, I'm like, yo, I have like so many. This I'm just so motivated. So I was thinking like flea market. I was thinking of the flea market could be a couple different things. The Kwanzaa 365. It don't gotta change. It don't gotta be just one thing. We gotta do this year long round. We have to do this the year out. And it's just we're already hitting the pavement running. When it comes to podcasts, I've been able to do shout out to Anchor because I've had my Dancers Report, which is I don't know if you can see it. The Dancers Report is all the dancers nationwide, worldwide that I've encountered and want to know, and also the community of dancers want to get to know those who are not dancers who want to know the process and how they get started and what their life is like in dance. So I was able to cultivate that on Anchor, and then I started doing the Dope DJs edition. To shout out to Ilnil, Amando, just all the Saki, everybody. Saki, you gotta give me a call, bro. Anyways, I have a DJ's podcast who glorifies and it lifts up all the DJs. To me, every DJ Reg West, all of the DJs that I've worked with, Jeff Two Times, those are families. Listen, these DJs as the reason why the artist is able to be successful too. Because without them, the party don't stop. It started with the DJ Cool Herc. So the event started with the DJ. So I was trying to remind people how we start up. We start up as artists. We start up trying to move around and move the crowd, but you can't move the crowd with just your mic and yourself. You need the DJ to do it. So I was trying. I created a DJ podcast, and I then asked God what's next, and this was 2019, and He said ship. So I said okay, what's ship? All right, give me more. And ships sink or they sail. Relationships, they either sink or they sail. And he didn't say relationships just with a man and a woman, or just in general. He said the relationship within yourself, with yourself. So he later told me to put everybody in a room and get them to their healing faster because and get to their purpose faster because draw near, I'm close. So that's why I did ship because there was a call and a tug and a pull to heal. Not just myself, but other people who were sort of rejecting the idea of therapy or rejecting, to talk about certain issues or getting to the root of why you have repetitive, redundant, or same like, behavior or relationships that seem to be the same but it's different person, or different people. So getting people in the room together became a group therapy. And so that's what I've been cultivating in terms of a podcast when it comes to relationships. So I'm extremely excited to hear that someone other than myself is thinking in that forward thinking in that way to get to the root of why the relationships are. There's a tremendous amount of singles. Marriages are not long lasting. I personally think when we talk about relationships, that I think it would be most important when you're getting in relationship, you've figured out the relationship within yourself, right? First, and then when you're getting into other relationships, a relationship with someone, to be with the one that's purpose for you. Because how powerful would you be if we were waiting or getting involved with our purpose needs? Because then we build the kingdom that way. Then we're powerful. Then we're inspiring others as a couple to come together, not just for superficial, but to wait until you see the likeness in the person, and it's a purpose kingdom relationship. Because you can't break the kingdom relationship. You can break something that you just put together. You know what I'm saying? You can break that, but you can't break a kingdom relationship, especially when you're whole and you're doing the work. But that's a whole nother story. But now
Girl.
I'm working on. I just started doing the interviews for A Producer's Love. It is a podcast. It is the producer's edition. I am working with producers and interviewing producers because it is very important to see what the process of how music is created and where the artist comes in. So I am breaking down on my platform how a show is put together. The artists, I love y'all, but y'all are last because you have to build from ground up. You have the DJ, you have the dancer, because without the DJ and the dancer, you're not really entertained if the artist can't.
There's no artist. There's no artist. Can't.
So I had to do the next thing on the producers. So the next thing I'm cultivating is called The Producer's Love, and the first episode is coming out. I'm not even going to say when, but it's coming out in the next 1 or 2 months. I'm excited because I got a slew of producers I'm rocking with. So, and then also just building with Miss 5678 is a conglomerate, a collective, collaborative process, platform of dance, music, and wellness and the arts. It's not just for me to teach, it is for those who I've connected with to come onto my platform and propel what they teach. So that is what Building with Miss 5678 is. It is dancers who want to teach, dancers who want to connect with each other, musicians and artists who want to connect with each other. It is singers who want to connect with each other. It's visual artists who teach, who want to do the events. It's for DJs. And it's certainly for life coaches, wellness coaches, therapists, psychologists, marriage coaches, all of those in one place so that we can do the core work, which is around our mental wellness and our feel good. Because when you feel good, you look good. That's just it. When
That's
you
it.
Feel good, you look good. So that's my platform is for all of creatives to come on and get what they need. So if it's within the visual arts, if it's within music, if it's within wellness, if it's within fitness, come on. I have, Zumba, I have dancehall social cardio, I have Sister Steph. Steph does her Salah on from the website. She can go live on the website, or you can go directly to her platform from my platform so that you can get what you need. She does mindfulness, she does coaching, she does counseling. Preach, sing, the whole bit. So, and then I have, Men's Talk that's launching up, which is a platform. It's on the platform, but it's a show and sort of group therapy and discussion for men only. I don't want a female in sight. Love us females, but this is for them to share, to give, to talk, to express, to be vulnerable, speak amongst each other without any bias around.
And that's so important that we need to give men a space to be creative. Women love women. We're all women on here, but sometimes we can dominate a space and make it impossible for men to really be able to creatively express. So listen,
Absolutely.
we see all the links, and we want everybody to get on and jump on, and let's be in this creative space. And I don't know, I just had a vision of like Miss Karen painting, Chanel dancing, and maybe me giving some mindfulness. You know what I
I
mean?
love
Like
that.
some mindfulness affirmations, right? I'm like, when you're creative, like we could spend hours talking about you being waking up in the middle of the night with an idea, and it sounds insane, right? It sounds crazy,
Right.
but when you say it to someone who can catch the vision, they're like, oh shoot, let's do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Chanel and I, one time we just sat one afternoon, and a conversation came up, and we planned a whole event in one afternoon, and we just got it popping. Because when you have creatives
I'm
in
with it.
one mindset and really in
There you
order and
go.
in alignment with each other, it's like, okay, I literally just saw that painting, and then the dancing, the creative arts, and then
Mm,
I'm saying affirmations, and that's like
mm.
something we can
Wow.
offer. I think it's beautiful because I started, it's called Salem Mindset Counseling Collective, and it gives therapy, it gives mindfulness, and it gives wellness, and that whole total body healing. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
creative spaces, I think that our creativity is really birthed out of our trauma or our pain, right? What we went through.
Mm.
We can paint, we can dance, we can sing, and we can move because we've been through some things.
Right.
Creatives are conquerors, or more than conquerors. That's what the Bible says.
Mm.
It doesn't just say we're conquerors, right? It says we're
Yes.
more than conquerors. So creatives,
More.
when you enter into that space of freedom, creativity is deliverance, because then you're able to
Mm.
drop off all the weights that are on our shoulders.
Ooh.
I'm going to express myself with the stroke of this paintbrush, or how I move
Mm.
my arm, or how I sing, or how I'm just able to be with someone and sit with someone and hear someone, or how I give this podcast, how I'm allowing someone to come on and speak. Freedom is
Yes.
right there. It's like you can audibly hear the chains breaking when we block or stifle our
Mm.
creativity. It's like, wait a minute, we're
Wow.
stifling our freedom. We're stifling
Wow.
what we're supposed to be doing in the earth. So I love this
Wow.
creative space. Look, I want to
Ooh.
be mindful of everyone's time. I want to give you both the opportunity just to say your final closing comments.
Okay.
This has been Kuumba. Man, another amazing
Kuumba.
Kwanzaa conversation. I'm so appreciative of every guest who's
Amazing.
been on. Tomorrow we finish up with Amani, which means
Hmm.
faith. Also, I want to do a plug. We are having a virtual Kwanzaa Vision Board Party, where we are planning our 2022 with the principles of Kwanzaa. So we have an
Wow.
event going on. It starts at 4. If anyone's interested in coming, please
Good night.
follow Harambe Learning and Culture Center. I'll drop the link in the chat,
Okay.
and I'll share
Good.
the event. Please share the event. It's virtual. Anybody could come. We're making virtual vision boards, or physical vision boards, but these are the principles we're going to use, and they're going to set our 2022. 7 principles in Aguzu Saba that help us to cultivate exactly what we're supposed to be doing. If we follow these things, we
Wow.
can't go wrong, and we'll
Amazing.
stick
No.
together
Amazing.
in community.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Chanel, I'm gonna let you go ahead, give your final statements, and then we'll let Miss Karen, and then we'll wrap up. Kuumba.
Okay.
So
Kaumba.
I would say my final wrap up for this is and I heard when Steph said come on, and I started reading more about Kuumba. I heard God tell me to again use what I gave you and use what you have. And I just keep hearing share, share, share. So that means to share your words. And of course, from a positive space, share your joy, share His joy, share God's joy, um, share your art, share your gifts, share the mindset. If you have a mindset that is attractive and that you know that is progressive and is forward thinking and can help somebody, share it. If you have an idea that you know is for someone else, share it. Don't hold on to anything. You have to share. Otherwise, you miss the blessing that may be coming, that's pushing you forward. You know what I'm looking at as a pencil. You know the mechanical pencil where you take one piece out and you put it underneath. You take one piece of the pencil out and put it underneath. That is what I feel like 2022 is. Is you take this out, you release that gift, and you share it. Then you fill back up, and then it just keeps pushing people up, 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 and then and it's like a rotation of everything. And you're on your next assignment. When you're on your next assignment, I mean, let's get on this space, this place of where we're sharing and we're giving at the same time, and we're being poured back into. Yeah, man, I have some things coming up. I'm excited about. If you want to build community, come onto the platform. It's buildingwitness5678.com. And I have something January 9th that's happening where I'm going to be teaching dancehall soca cardio for mind, body, and soul. Which is a wellness brunch, gourmet brunch that's all health geared towards. They have massages happening. They have vendors there, all different aspects of motivational speaking and fitness. So it's just a feel good space. So I'm going to be teaching there on January 9th. But Steph and I have some amazing things coming up too. So yeah, man, podcast ship will be launching the first episode. Phases of a relationship will be on ship. I believe it is the end of January. So I'll be posting the date soon. But you can certainly come onto the platform, buildingwitness5678.com, so that you can be in the know.
Absolutely in the know. And
Awesome.
Chanel's contact information is all in the chat. So in every chat that this is streaming on. So please click on that, find out who she is, connect with her on Instagram, all her social media platforms, so we can start supporting each other and really building this creative space. Thank you so
Excellent.
much. Okay, Miss
Mhm.
Karen, go right
Excellent.
ahead.
Okay, just wanted quickly, two things. The first thing, notice how when the pandemic started, people began to go to a place of, I don't know what to do, or I see that I can do the things that I always wanted to before because I have time now. We're doing things. And so I believe now the Lord is honing in even closer to deal with some emotional things, some self-care. Like you were saying earlier, learn how to have boundaries. Don't do everything for everybody. That's self-care. And we're not taught that, particularly as women. You're just there for everybody to do everything all the time. And then there's no time left for you, and you're drained, and you start having perhaps health issues. So we've got self-care is what I heard about this coming year. Self-care, focus on self-care. And that can be in many ways. The next thing is Jesus had two fish, 5 loaves of bread. He made do. That multiplied like crazy because of his trust in God. And plus, he used what he had. He didn't say like the disciples that said, we can't do this. He used what he had. And look what it did, what it covered. For 2022, I have art therapy classes coming up online that have to do with anxiety, trauma, depression, all those kind of things, working it out through art, techniques, activities, exercises. So just watch for it coming up 2022.
Listen, this is it. No one can say,
This is
oh, I don't know where to reach out. A
Ooh.
plethora of resources, activities,
Mhm.
events, and things to be plugged into have been listed. It is up to us now. The onus is on us. It is our responsibility to take that next step. God cannot put the super on a natural if we are not taking the step, if we have not moved.
Yes.
So we take the step and we allow God to show us the things to do to increase our creativity, to stir up our creative gifts. And so we can be free creatives, blessing our communities and blessing the world. Our creativity will put us in spaces that we never thought we'd get in, but we know it's the favor and the blessing of God. That's the beauty of Kuumba. We creatively open ourselves, and then we're able to be moved by God and used by God wherever He needs us. Our creativity heals, it blesses people,
Mm.
it causes people to look at themselves. That
It
emotional
blesses us
piece,
too.
it blesses us too. It all comes back in
Yes.
one circle. There's no one just hogging up all that. No, it's one big reciprocal circle. That's the beauty of being a creative. I thank you both so much, my creative queens, for being on here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who tuned in and listened and commented.
Yes.
Miss Karen, both of your beautiful daughters were in the chat, so they were showing mama
Oh,
some
good.
love. Yes, yes, yes.
Good.
This was
Good.
amazing and wonderful. Thank you both so much. And thank you all,
Thank you.
listeners. We have had another great, amazing Kwanzaa conversation. Tomorrow we finish up with Imani. We're talking about faith. I think that's such a great way to end Kwanzaa and then propel us into 2022. So now, listeners, don't be jealous because the three of us are going to have a little after party chat. Sorry, that's just a creative space that we're going to have, but we love you still, okay? Please share this with anyone you think would really benefit from this. And please follow Harambe Learning and Culture Center because I'm going to be sharing information about the event happening tomorrow at 4. We are making a vision board with the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles. How do we want our 2022 reflect those principles that have helped us so much? So we love you. We thank you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Happy New Year's Eve and Happy New Year. Happy New Year's. Have a prosperous New Year. A Kuumba New Year, okay? Where our creativity flowers are blooming and we're blessing our community. All right. So we will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.